Hello everyone, my name is Luis Hernandez and I'm running for Riverside City Council in Ward 6. My occupation, I've dedicated my career to serving people with disabilities as the lead assistive technology specialist. I supervise 7 individuals over 3 different programs, one of which includes an internship program dedicated to helping students gain real-world work experience. I also serve as vice chair on the Board of Ethics, where I work to uphold transparency and accountability in our local government. So I think it's important for people to do their own research into what Measure Z is and what it funds. I understand that it's important, for these taxes to be able to pay for city services, but at the same time, I understand there are individuals who ask questions as to, why wasn't existing Measure Z funds used to help support the firefighters? And of course, I'm a big supporter of the firefighters, especially with what's going on with our climate and all the fires that are going on. So me personally, I will vote yes for Measure Z because in the end, it's only like 25 cents for every $100, but that 25 cents can make a real difference as far as providing more services for our city and obviously, our firefighters. So I do like the idea of the revitalization projects and some of the projects that they're bringing into the city. I think it's helpful to bring in more revenue, more tax, more local businesses. But at the same time, I think there's some forethought that needs to be put into how it'll affect traffic, given all the individuals that it'll attract to these local areas. And, I'm not opposed to any of that. I love the idea, but, I would like some projects put forth in our area as well, not just in the downtown area, but also in the other wards, specifically Ward 6, to try and bring in more foot traffic to our local businesses as well. So my plan is to, as I walk through my ward, I can see the areas that need, more repair as far as streets, potholes, the lack of sidewalks, things like that. So, obviously going through the area and seeing what areas have been ignored or haven't had, those streets or sidewalks fixed in a while, and, prioritizing those areas which have gone without for a long period of time. So it's important to me that all the residents in our ward feel like their tax dollars are going to something. So they kind of both go hand in hand. We have a lot of individuals, unfortunately, in our city who are on the brink of homelessness. And obviously there's an increase in our homeless population as well. And that unfortunately includes a lot of our senior population. So trying to work with the Riverside Housing Development Corporation and nonprofits like Family Promise to try and address the homelessness crisis, but also bring in more affordable housing in a shorter period of time, rather than breaking ground on projects, looking at different ideas to renovate certain buildings, to bring in more affordable housing. That way there's not so many individuals who end up on the street. And we can also get some of those individuals that are on the street with income to be able to afford somewhere to live. The opposite of homelessness is obviously having somewhere to stay. 4 walls and a roof, no matter what that looks like, is better than being on the street. If we don't want individuals on the street in front of local businesses, we have to support them somehow. We have to provide services that'll help them get off the street. Wraparound services, and tie that to transitional housing or permanent supportive housing. That would be great to help a lot of those individuals who are on the street, so that we can help them. Okay. So after pretty extensive research, the fire severity maps, and just what the project looks like, I'm with those residents that see it as a fire hazard and a huge concern. Those towers will be nearly 200 feet tall. Aside from being an eyesore, there's all the fire hazards that it can cause. So I am, if I get elected, that's one of the things that I aim to address, is looking for alternatives, finding the funds, and trying to find alternatives to those towers that may be a fire hazard in the future. And obviously trying to protect those residents in those surrounding areas, and including near my ward as well. Because I understand what a lot of our residents are going through. I know that a lot of them pay high rent. I know a lot of them are struggling to find great job opportunities, and I want to address these issues. I have my family there. We've lived there for almost 20 years. So being able to afford to live in Riverside, not having to move out to other areas, and having good job opportunities to be able to afford to live here is important to me. And that's why the residents should vote for me, because I'm looking out for their best interest when it comes to those major issues, as well as others in the area.